How do you feel about Muse being done so quickly after the buildup he was receiving this season?
We know that there's a Daredevil mural that says Born Again that I assume Muse will do, or maybe the copycat Muse will do, or maybe, Angela might do. I don't really know if that's even going to be in this version of the show.
Was Vanessa really trying to get Wilson killed? Or was this just like I'm testing Wilson to see if he's still at the top of his game?
So I think it was her reaction that tells us that this was a game that the two of them were playing.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the break room. Hey, when you look out this window, what do you see? A Starbucks, a frozen yogurt shop, a fresh new mural from Muse, one of those food delivery robots that got stuck in the gutter. The answer? A big plate of ziti with some sausage on top. It's the after show. Hit that graphic.
Oh my God.
After show, after show, after show,
After show.
after show, after show. Can't all be winners.
Damn.
Oh, baby, we're talking Daredevil episode 7 today. Of course, we got a lot of other things we've been waiting for, and we can't wait to discuss those as well. But first, we've got to talk about this episode. Episode 7, Art for Art's Sake. I'm Brandon Barrick, and joining me today, this is a carrot and a stick situation, okay? And she has a very big carrot and a very big stick. It's Jessica Clemons.
I don't know if I like that.
You got a big carrot and a big stick.
Where is it?
I don't know. They're in your hands. You're the one making the threats around here. Okay? Also joining us today, he's been waiting on the ceiling for the room to clear so he can rappel down. It's Erik Voss.
And I'm just batting the other human blood bag pinatas next to me. Like, Matt was just hanging there.
Waiting up there.
With corpses hanging next to him.
Do you think he got there before the cops got there and then waited and heard them coming and went up?
No, I think he's been there for 12 hours.
It stinks. That's why he had to take a shower.
Yeah.
It smells awful. So many things to talk about this episode. Like, will Vanessa betray Wilson Fisk? Did Muse deserve better? I don't understand. Did Muse deserve better?
Like, did he need more story?
Okay.
Yeah. Did he get killed off too?
I thought Evan was trying to say he didn't deserve to die because he agrees with what Muse is doing. We also got to talk about Matt Murdock and Heather Glenn, and if these two can figure it out, right? We're going to get into all that and more. Of course, we want to remind you to check out nerdriot.shop. We have our Daredevil-inspired merch, like our Justice and Punishment shirt. Eric's rocking that right now. We've also got our monster design of Kingpin, which comes on mugs and shirts. And you can also get, like, the Long Live the King. Tons of great merch. We also got some old Star Wars merch. Get our Neil, I Just Want to Go Home shirt. Jessica's rocking that shirt right now.
I'm doing a lot of different ones. I got my Lumen.
She's got her Lumen mug. She's all up in the fandoms, folks. So check it all out, nerdriot.shop, great way to support the channel. As we get started, let's give you a quick recap of the episode. After an opening scene straight from the Sony School of ADR, we deal with the aftermath of Daredevil's fight with Muse, with Matt unable to get Cherry's help to continue daredeviling, because Cherry's pissed that this man has started being Daredevil again. And we got Fisk fixating on the Devil's Return, as opposed to, stopping the serial killer that's gotten 60 plus people. As a reminder, Thunderbolt Ross told us that 74 people died during the Battle of New York. Muse got 60, maybe 62 if those two girls got added. Is he as dangerous as the Chitauri?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And he's more menacing, because at least the Chitauri is just like, we're coming in here wrecking things. He's
they weren't making
I'm gonna
bodies.
disembowel you.
60 is so many.
60 is a lot of people.
So many.
Yeah, and they just
people.
wrote that number, but I'm like, that's a big number.
Yeah,
You couldn't have said
two
like
Mormon families.
12. You couldn't say like 12. Oh.
I say it with love. I
Ooh.
love every Mormon.
They all get their own planets, folks. Bastion Cooper, aka the Muse, reveals himself to Heather, but before he can use her blood for his art, Daredevil crashes through the window. A fight scene that includes Daredevil firing his billy club through Muse. It's Heather with the save, grabbing Muse's gun and shooting him multiple times before passing out. Kingpin's anti-vigilante task force arrives on the scene, seeing Heather's wound stabilized, but no Daredevil. They missed him. Later, Fisk gives them the credit for stopping Muse in a press conference, and Daniel threatens BB to make sure she does the same in the BB report. And finally, with Luca growing frustrated with Fisk's leadership, or lack thereof, he tells Vanessa that things were better when she was in charge, which in turn leads to her giving Luca Fisk's dinner location, hoping to sneak up on him alone. Luca pounces, but it's Buck with the save. Thank you, Buck, indeed. Was this all just a weird flirtation game for Wilson and Vanessa? I don't know. I'm very confused with what's going on with these two. Can't they just talk through their feelings?
Of course not.
Of course not.
No, couples will do anything to avoid therapy.
That is true. That is
They
true.
will live in a 50-year unhappy marriage before they go to therapy.
I mean, do you think this whole Vanessa, Luca, Wilson thing, was Vanessa really trying to get Wilson killed? Or was this just like I'm testing Wilson to see if he's still at the top of his game? Because if he's as good as he says, he'll know I'm trying to get him killed? Or did they both know what was up from the jump and this was just like a weird way to kill Luca?
Well, we know that Luca had this clear disloyalty. He said to take that 1.8 mil or 2.8 mil and shove it right up his butt.
Right.
So I think from that moment, Fisk knew that he couldn't trust Luca. I have to imagine that this was like a way, like he allowed. I think there's like some cuck energy, right? Can I say that on the break room?
I think
I
like,
said the
I think
C
you
word
just
all
said
the
But I
that.
just said energy. I don't think it's happening. Like, obviously,
Right.
he felt rage toward Adam, but he allows it to happen so that he can punish the man.
Right.
And I think that's kind of what's happening here. I think, like, there wasn't, like, a romantic connection between Luca and Vanessa, but there was, like, almost what seemed like was going to be a betrayal. And I think Fisk was aware of it. And I don't know if, like, Vanessa knew that Wilson was aware of it, but Wilson, I think, was clearly aware of it by having Buck standing there.
Yeah.
So
And buying out the restaurant.
it's just the way she reacted afterwards. It didn't look like she was that shocked or surprised.
Yeah.
So I think it was her reaction that tells us that this was a game that the two of them were playing.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not that they were both telling each other that they were playing the game is a question. Like, I think, like, she was hoping he would do that. You know,
That
like
w- that
it was
Fisk
her
would kill
testing him,
Luca.
and and that he was ahead of her. So I think that was the moment they were both aware that they were both playing the game.
Okay.
And it was just kind of like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith moment, like, you're a spy, I'm a spy. Like, they both know that they've been playing each other, and that is kind of a turn on for the two of them.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I don't know.
What do you think? I mean,
Well, at no point did I think Wilson was in any danger, right? And I also didn't feel like Vanessa was really trying to get him killed. It more felt like a weird way of messing with Luca. And I guess I don't know at what point Vanessa and Wilson are working together. Because going back to like episode 3 or 4, when Buck presents to the crime heads like, hey, Luca, you got to pay Victor 1.8 million because the boss says so. I thought that was Vanessa making that happen, and Buck making it sound like it's coming from Fisk, but it was actually Vanessa really pulling the strings, and Wilson had no idea. But then when Luca goes to Wilson's office is like, I don't want to pay this 1.8, and he's like, well, now it's 2.8. It seemed like Fisk knew what was going on the whole time, or was it in that moment, was he thinking on his toes, didn't want to sound like he had no idea what was going on, it was just like, actually throw another $1 million on it, and then was like, what the hell is that guy talking about? I don't even know what he was talking about. And then he confronts, but then him and Vanessa talk later, and they're like laughing about it, like, haha, I'm making him pay an extra $1 million.
well, I think that monetary negotiation was, well, the writers intended to be a response to the heist episode.
Sure,
And before
yes.
that, the Red Hook shooting that had happened from Devlin, the Irishman. What's very confusing about
Is why Luca is involved.
is
with
why
the
Luke
Irish,
is involved, because
yeah.
it seems like Devlin and the Irish, or I should say Northern Irish gang, are reporting to Luca, and Luca, I just assume, is an Italian faction of the five families. I don't know why these two families are kind of in cahoots. You would
Yeah.
think that they're their own families and they have their own angles. So I don't know why Devlin is kicking up to Luca. That's a little weird to me. So that's why I think the base of this confusion.
Yeah.
But I do think that they, from that incident, that Luca owed some kind of tribute to make it right.
Sure, yeah.
Luca and Devlin. And then that was 1.8 mil. So they robbed Yusuf Khan's bank in order to get a diamond that was exactly 1.8 mil. Didn't take any of the cash. You would imagine that they would have 1.8 mil.
You can
in
trace the
there.
cash.
But cash is heavy.
Yeah.
That's what the Dark Knight and Heat don't tell you. Those duffel bags would have been extremely heavy.
They get into it in Breaking Bad. It's a problem to deal with.
It's
all
heavy.
the cash.
It's heavy. It's heavy. So, but yeah. So I think that's what was happening there. But then it was just like Luca. Then the way he reacted, like the way he said, "Shove it up your butt." I think that's when he's like, "Okay, now we have someone who's not going to play with us."
Yeah.
And that I think Luca assumed that there was more daylight between Vanessa and Fisk,
Totally.
and so they used him as kind of a pawn in their weird little.
But he doesn't
sex
know
game.
that they've been going to therapy.
Or maybe he does. He's just watching them. And he's like, oh, they're walking
I think everyone in
upstairs.
New York has to go to Heather Glenn for their therapy needs.
Right, and Heather Glenn says, well, I have to cut this short. I have the mayor and his wife coming in because she is not a good therapist. And we all agree that Heather Glenn, and this is not the actor's fault, this is the way the character is written, not a good
No,
therapist.
not a good, especially by this episode, I was like, oh, you're handling Muse really poorly. For
You
someone
can't
that's
even
trying to-
you can't even face me without that mask.
You crazy, crazy loony dum-dum.
Because I was also like, I get being like fearful and immediately
Yeah.
retaliating, but I was like, you think he's not going to retaliate worse now? Because I was like, you're a therapist. You know that this is just going to make it worse for you. I also will say, after watching Adolescence and then going into this episode, I was
Right.
like, oh, this is not how a psychiatrist should handle this. No,
I think if I was in that situation, I would just like poop my pants, right? Because that's gonna freak Muse out, I think.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's gonna
I
ruin
thought
the
you were
art.
saying if you were Muse in this scenario.
Oh, if
I
I
would have freaked Heather out
yeah,
for
if
sure.
I've gone to all this trouble and I've set all this up and I got the canvas laid out, I've already made the slice and things aren't going well, I poop my pants.
Yeah, I don't think he has a problem with like bowels because he's been digging.
No,
people's
it's not
blood.
a problem. I'm in control. I've made the decision to poop. My
I think he's still gonna take your blood.
Oh, I
he's just
see.
gonna be like, you pooped your pants. I'm not going there. I'm going to
He's
your
not gonna
legs.
put
and
poop in his art. He's blood only. He's not
No,
poop.
he just needs your blood. Why do you think there's poop smeared on your body?
Because I'm gonna smear on the canvas that
Oh
he had
my
to pay
God.
special money
So
for.
you think you
'cause
got
it's
time?
And when
unique
you die,
canvas.
you shit yourself.
Yeah.
Right? That's what they don't tell you. Movies and TV shows.
When you give birth
your
and
bowels
when you
loose.
die. you
Not
poop.
every time though. So maybe she.
Every time.
What if
Every
she
time
already?
I
If you've
baby,
had a
I
big
poop.
meal in the past 18 hours, your corpse is gonna smell like dookie. And that, you don't have to give me a reason to poop. I think, put me in any hypothetical high stress situation.
I'm gonna
I've shit my
poop.
pants hours ago.
I don't think my grandma shit herself when she died. I think she.
I
just
don't want to
died.
bring your grandma into this. Just
That's the only dead person I know.
Get out the Ouija board. Let's ask.
Did you poop your pants? She goes, yes.
I'm sure this conversation has answered several super chats already.
Yes, I did. Yes,
I guess, yeah, my confusion is just like, it seems like the show wants us to think that Vanessa and Wilson are butting heads about Wilson's unclear motives for being mayor, unclear to Vanessa, and the lack of oversight of the crime foundation they've established in this city. And I understand why the 1.8 million was like ordered to be given. It was just unclear who was giving the orders, and it seemed like the show wanted it to be a mystery. Wanted us to be thinking, is it Vanessa? Is it Wilson? But if they're always working together, I don't see what the point is.
They want it to be a mystery, but it's more confusing.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
it's up to us to keep insinuating what the cause is. And I do think it's kind of weird that it's already getting to the last 2 episodes and we
Right.
still don't know.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I think it is supposed to be a mystery until episode 8, but I don't think as an arc that's great. I think
Right.
that's very confusing and misleading.
And the way the information was introduced to us was as it was like in a follow-up conversation
Yeah.
to a scene we didn't see that I assume it was cut, part of the reshoots. And this is like a classic example of mystery versus confusion
Right.
in the early episodes of a season. And I think we assumed that this was mystery because we assumed everything in the show was deliberate. But that's just how New Rockstars approaches shows. Is like, you know, when we're talking about these things, we just think every detail that's put in there is like a clue, when in reality, this is just like, oh, we had to have a reason for these 2 characters to be talking because it's connected to this whole subplot that culminates with this moment in episode 7. And if they cut those scenes, like, you know, so I think it wasn't as delicately structured because I just think they reshot a lot of this and they
Yeah.
re-edited a lot of this stuff.
A good example of kind of what you said, or a little piece of it, was when they have Heather talking about Matt's past and saying Foggy and pausing before Karen. And I was like, are we to not expect this was deliberate? Like this, I don't know if it's the actress that plays Heather Glenn's point to like act and pause before Karen, but my job is to be like, why did you pause on Karen? When
Yeah,
we know
I
that he has
caught
a
that
history.
too. Did you interpret that as like she
I
knows
didn't
that
wanna-
Matt and Karen were very close?
Well, that's also the thing. We don't, and I mentioned this in our breakdown. I'm so sorry if you're mad at me for doing this. I don't know their relationship because we don't see it a
Whose
lot.
relationship?
Heather and Matt. We only
Right.
see
Though
some
when they
scenes.
said love,
I was like,
thrown.
oh, where are we? Because I was like, from what I've seen, what you guys have shown me, it doesn't seem like their relationship is actually that strong.
Right.
It's more so just like when he needs someone to talk to, she's there because she's a good psychiatrist. And so when she said like Karen and paused, I was like, how much does she know? I don't know how much she knows. How much does she know about his
I
past?
took that to be that she knows that Matt and Karen used to get coffee several times.
But I didn't think of her. I didn't want, which I'm like, you guys are clearly not killing Heather, so you don't want to fridge her. But I also hope, because you don't want to fridge her, you don't want to make her the jealous type in this series. It just doesn't make sense. So that's why I'm like, why would you give her that line to set up? That's okay. That's just my confusion.
And I think what sometimes is throwing to, a lot of time has passed on this show kind of sneakily, right? We've gone from November of the previous year to now we're like in April, right?
Yeah.
Or we're just past St. Patrick's Day, so maybe we're still in March. I don't know how much time has passed since like episode 5.
I think episode 6 was in April, and I think this episode's right after episode 6, right? To kill 60 people. I don't know how deep in Muse was at the start.
Right.
Yeah, he must have been like 35.
It takes a lot of time. You wouldn't be like one person after another because they didn't know they were connected. And if they were like that connected, if there was like one day every day of the week, so it hasn't been 60 days. It's been like probably, it's been a 6 or 7 months.
Yeah. And so, and again, if you're like loving this show and you hate that we're maybe yucking your yum a little bit, we don't intend to do that. We really like the premise of the show, and a lot of the elements of the show are very fun. It's just a little frustrating sometimes when this confusion is there, because we are paying attention and we want to enjoy it. But I do find it frustrating when this confusion rises on things that shouldn't be confusing.
Right.
They should be laid out. And my other frustrations are, it just feels like retreads of what we've done on Netflix, right? Keeping Matt out of the suit for as long as we can. He's back in it now. That's great. But also, like, Wilson and Vanessa being at odds is, like, always the problem, I feel like. It was a big point of, like, the first 3 seasons. Is, like, him hiding stuff from her wanting to be more involved. And they finally get married at the end of season 3, and they're clicking, and they're working together, and they're both crime people, and I love it. And now it's like they're just finding a reason for them not to work together. And I find that frustrating.
Yeah, why? Like, there's no reason...
Why wouldn't he tell her his plan for being there?
Right. There's no reason why this couldn't be like just a power couple dynamic. You could have a Macbeth and Lady Macbeth relationship. You could have a Frank Underwood and Claire Underwood relationship. There's like, I want to see them work together. Like, I don't need a whole season to see them work out their issues. I want to see them work together, and then at night they disagree over how best they did it.
Yeah.
Like, it was more exciting, I think, in Breaking Bad when Skylar started working with.
Yes.
And she still had these, moral crises.
She had
over
reservations about it, but yes, she was like, here's where we're at.
Yeah. But, here's what we are excited about.
Yes.
We're excited about season 2, where it's just like a consistent team and they're executing on a vision. We're excited to see how bloody the MCU on Disney Plus can be right now and how truly violent the spectacle can get.
The baton going through Muse, I was like, holy cannoli.
And if you are watching this show and you like everything in it and you hate us saying anything negative about it, great. Because here's the good news, is there are so many other great procedural shows out there that you clearly have not discovered yet if you think that this is the best.
Yeah.
The Penguin, The Wire, seasons of Breaking Bad, of Ozark. There's so many just great crime shows out
Bosch.
there. Bosch.
Hey, where my Bosch heads at?
Cherry, shout out Cherry, right?
Cherry shows up on the original Bosch.
Watching
don't
Bosch.
worry about Bosch Legacy. We don't have to talk about Bosch Legacy. But Bosch, I'm here for it.
Yeah. So yeah, we just do notice all the details. That's what we do.
Yeah,
we can't turn off that filter.
Yeah, I'm frustrated with the things that are unnecessarily confusing.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to be revealed as to why they were so confusing at some point, and I'll walk it all back. Evan.
Let's catch up on some chat questions here. Kessel Uman resubbing on Twitch. Thank you so much. Asking, do you think Kingpin will kill Vanessa by the end?
Oh my God!
Absolutely not.
Ooh, I don't know.
Absolutely
I don't think
not.
so.
I think he's gonna get upset, so upset.
Yeah.
I think she'd kill him before he ever lays a hand on her. I do think that there's gonna be something to say about like how much she's doing that he doesn't like. He's like, hey, every time you take one step forward, you're rippling everything that I'm working for. So please stop, or I'm gonna have to like force you out of this.
I don't think he would kill her, but what would cause me to go whoa would be if the end of this season, Fisk throws like the crime families under the bus and includes Vanessa in that, and sends her to jail, and like sells them all out basically to remain mayor and to show how powerful he is. Like, to make an example of, like, I'm going after the vigilantes, but I also stopped the crime family.
Wouldn't she just snitch?
But, like, if he's got everything in his pocket, right, and he throws her under the bus, and he's like, my own wife, she was doing this behind my back. My Vanessa, how could she? Like, what is she going to say? No, he was the one. Like, no, it's too late, right?
I think
he sells her out like that.
I think it'll still make him look bad because their whole strategy with Sheila was like, hey, voters are very... like they're pulling away because you guys aren't showing a happy family. So I think it would still hurt his numbers. But I do think if that were to happen, he would just take her out of prison immediately. Like it would be like, hey, you just got to go to court.
Publicly, and then
I'm gonna get you out.
The post credit is her walking out Ocean's 11 style, and he's in there in the car, like, let's go.
It's gonna piss her off because he can do that, and he's done that. Well, I'm trying to remember when he did in like the Netflix show, but I know in the comics he did it to literally everybody. He was like, hey, I need you to take the fall for this, but I'm gonna make sure you're out the exact same day you take the fall.
Okay, I like that. Evan?
So we're getting a lot of questions about some other things not related to Daredevil, about Secret Wars and Doomsday. We'll hit those closer towards the end, just to keep us on track right now.
Said, no.
But I will shout out Travis Avery, who said, first comment, but just wanted to say thank you to the entire crew. My girlfriend is new to the MCU, and we just finished the complete timeline. Excited for what's next, and y'all are so helpful.
Damn,
Travis,
she's in this season.
She's new to the MCU. Is she watching right now?
Let's say yes.
Get out.
You take care. No.
Stay here as long as you can.
Do whatever you can. Get out of here. Go watch Bosch.
Go watch Bosch Legacy.
No, don't watch Bosch Legacy.
Just only watch Bosch.
Yeah, you know what? I switched it up. I just watched all of Bosch Legacy.
I didn't know there was a Bosch or Bosch Legacy.
I don't know Bosch.
If you start with Bosch Legacy, then Bosch becomes a prequel.
And then I watched
I see.
Psych.
We'll get to more of our Daredevil questions here in a second, but first we want to thank our sponsor today, Beam, makers of Dream. Dream is a sleepy hot cocoa packed with all natural ingredients like melatonin, magnesium, L-theanine, and reishi mushrooms that support all 4 stages of sleep. 2 things I want to make very clear here. Very clear. First off, Dream tastes good. It's part of my nightly routine. I look forward to it. It's a tasty hot cocoa before bed. Is that something I want every night? Heck yes, it is. Also, Dream really works. I sleep so much better without any grogginess the next morning, and I'm not getting that kind of like knockout fake sleep you'll get from like sleeping pills. It's been a game changer, and I really can't recommend it enough. It's a great way to fall asleep and get some great sleep. With Dream, quality sleep is just a tasty hot mug of cocoa away. Get the sleep you deserve with up to 35% off Dream. Just use code BREAKROOM at checkout. Also, real quick, we want to thank Sideshow for sending us this awesome Stealth Spider-Man statue. You might recognize this suit from Spider-Man Far From Home. You probably wouldn't realize how much time we spend behind the curtains, like rearranging the shelves here, moving little things around. That's for our own enjoyment, right? Even things that aren't on camera, they're all over the place around here. We want to be surrounded by awesome, nerdy stuff at all times, and Sideshow quickly turned into one of the sites we're constantly checking out. They've got really incredible models, not just from Marvel, like the Stealth Spidey suit here, but also they've got Star Wars stuff, things from Arcane, other video games, horror movies, and a ton of niche IP. It's really cool what they have on the site. Go check out by clicking the link in the description below or head to sideshow.com. And thanks again to Sideshow for our Stealth Spider-Man. We love it. It makes the set look really cool. All right, let's get back to some questions.
We are getting, lots of questions. I think it feels like a natural way to move into talking about Heather.
Please.
Heather and Muse. A lot of questions about this scene. A lot of questions about Muse, of course, and Heather as well. Let's focus on Heather since we brought her up a few times. Meg510 asking, Heather is too smart to not put Matt and Daredevil together.
I would hope so at this point.
Do y'all think she'll put 2 and 2 together by the end of this season?
I think she already
next
did.
season?
Yeah.
I think she already did. I think she's like using it as like, are you gonna say the truth right now? And he doesn't, and that's what she's gonna hold on to. She's like, you're not even being honest. Yeah. I gave you the chance, and I think that's why she cried and turned up the TV. Yeah, because she was like,
"This is your chance." Because she's literally like, "I think he said my name. I think you said my name."
He has the same 5 o'clock shadow as you. It also seems like he's blind.
And she's gonna recognize the voice. Like,
right? His voice is not that different.
It's insane that there's 2 people this episode that have heard his voice in the costume because he's done it, and they're kind of A to Z and already. Like Angela and Heather are both like, I think this guy that represented my uncle is that man in the costume.
Christian Bale was right when he yelled at all those cast members. No. Christian Bale was right when he chose to give Batman a weird voice that was different from Bruce Wayne's voice. It's the smartest thing you can do.
It's the easiest, smartest thing you can do.
When he's Daredevil, he should be like, I'm Daredevil. Like that would throw people. Go full Goblin with you're called Daredevil.
Yeah, Kal-El does this as Clark Kent, and I'm really excited to hear. I don't think we've heard his voice yet as Clark Kent in any of the trailers.
David Cornsmith?
Cornsmith, yeah. Like he, Christopher Reeve did an amazing job of this. Like that, it is an acting performance. It's clown
Superman
work.
code
that he's doing.
switching is what.
Yeah, he's
you need
absolutely. He's doing it. Oh, Lois,
Yeah.
I don't know. And that's a huge part of Clark Kent and the persona he puts on. And then superhero movies with secret identities have kind of gone away with that.
No, yeah, they're not even wearing masks anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Well, they're not trying to hide it, but like Peter Parker doesn't change his voice under the mask.
Miles does it in the Spider-Verse, which I
He
appreciate.
does intimidation mode.
Hey, it's great working with you. Just so good.
So is that the version we want?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I want.
Yeah, I want him to do
A
that
grown
voice.
man voice.
Yeah,
Heather, are you okay? I got Muse.
That's his British accent, his normal voice.
Oh, yeah,
That's Charlie Cox's regular voice.
Yeah, I mean, he has shown that Matt Murdock can do a full Irish accent. Just throw it on Daredevil. My guy.
That'd be crazy to throw that
Also,
in now.
shave your beard, dude.
no,
beard's a giveaway.
But then it's a
No, I
giveaway
want
even
the-
more when he
give me
shows up
the
as a lawyer
ramble.
without it, you
I
know?
don't-
They'd be like, oh, here's his naked face as Daredevil, and then in the courtroom the next day they're like, wait a minute, he has
That's right.
bruises
He should
and
be a
Americans.
shaved face as Matt and then put on some spirit gum and just put on some stage
some
beard.
mutton chop.
Yeah.
That would, wait a minute.
I say.
Boy for sale. Boy
That's-
for sale.
that's-
What we
my
got here?
Daredevil.
We got ourselves a little Muse here, huh?
We got,
I don't find this quite amusing myself.
even though Muse looks like Clockwork Orange.
Oh man.
Yeah, Christina Dunham had sent in a super chat earlier asking, what do we think happens to Heather from here? Does she somehow become a part of the new task force?
Oh, okay.
interesting.
Oh, like they recruit him, be like, can you profile the citizens of New York?
Yeah.
To see if any of them could be masked vigilantes.
I don't know. I think her morals are such that she would not help. Although she has more of a clinical attitude toward vigilantes and people who wear masks. I don't think she wants to like prosecute them or kill them on the streets.
Right. I mean, I agree with Jess that like she totally knows that Matt is Daredevil and is giving him, the runway to come clean about it, but he won't do it. And like I was thrown when they dropped the L bombs, like when it was like I love you, I love you.
Yeah.
Because it didn't seem like the first time they had said it.
It seemed like the first time because he listened
think so?
for a heartbeat because our heartbeat was beating really slow.
Look,
So
man,
like,
it
I
is
don't know.
post blip. People don't have time
That
to
is also
slow walk relationships.
Hey, I'm not trying to say that's exactly the reason,
Yeah.
but it makes complete
Yeah.
sense.
I get that.
Nah,
that's
we
my
could
answer
go
for
at any
every
moment.
dislogic, for any
We could go
emotional
at any
dislogic on
moment.
the show.
One or
If the laws are weird, or if criminal justice is weird, or if emotions and relationships are weird, it's like everyone's messed up after that blip, and they're just like, I don't know, you might dust away at any moment, so I'm not gonna wait.
And I
stay
guess-
out.
But it's like, I will say it's a very not Daredevil thing to do. Even if she's like, yeah, we could die any moment. I love you. He's like, ooh. I feel like Matt's like, wait a minute.
I mean, I like you too, Heather.
I also appreciate
I also
you.
have strong feelings for you. I guess, and in Matt's mind, he's not Daredevil, right? Like I've put on the suit a couple of times, but I'm just dealing with Muse, and now that I've stabbed him through the heart, I'm done being Daredevil. Maybe he thinks like, I don't need to admit this to her because it's done now. Put away. I don't have to put the suit on anymore.
I think he just doesn't want to bring her into that world.
Right, but
Because
he
once
has!
that's the part that makes me upset. And this is not upset with the story, not upset with the writing. This is just this is logically justified for Daredevil. He's like, I don't want to bring you into this, but I also still love you. And I'm like, you can't be doing that. I like how Spider-Man recognizes that. He's much younger than you, but you keep bringing people into your life and they get harmed directly because of your what you're doing.
I do need Matt to show up at Bleecker Street now and be like, hey, I need you to do the mind wipe spell again. I need you, she can't know that I'm the Daredevil.
They're all knowing.
But also, was Heather getting hurt Matt's fault? That just kind of seemed like unlucky coincidence, right?
It's
like,
not Matt's fault, no.
No, I think she's gonna be directly the cause though going forward if she finds out. Like because that's evil villaining 101. You go after the loved ones, don't go directly for the guy.
Right, yeah.
So it makes sense for them to immediately go for Heather. I hope for some reason Wilson Fisk is like, I can't let that happen. That's that girl has all my information, all my documents.
I gotta keep her safe.
It would be cool to have both Daredevil and Wilson Fisk being like, we gotta protect this girl. Not together, they're talking about it, but separately they're like,
No, I want
can't
them
have
back
anyone
to
harm
back as a bunch of muses, hundreds of muses surround them like Agent Smiths. and they just fight them off back to back. Let's Fisk and Murdoch together again.
But you notice Mayor Fisk has not revealed too much in his therapy sessions.
No.
Like he's like, I don't know where Adam is.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's been very careful that whatever she writes down, even Heather's still in the blind.
But I
on
think
his deeper secrets.
because his ego's so big, just knowing he's going to marital therapy.
Oh, it's
is
kind of like
enough.
Tony Soprano
Yeah.
going to therapy. There was
He's
that.
like, no.
Yeah.
Well, Fisk ain't messing with Heather.
Oh, no, not like that. But I was thinking more like how
Spoiler alert.
the guys in Jersey were like, wait,
Yeah.
Sopranos go into therapy?
Yo,
Seeing
D,
a
I
head
heard you've
shrinker?
been seeing a head shrinker. What are you
They
doing?
all gave him
D?
shit for it.
I think he does Vanessa's like, this is fine for me, but he's like, no one can know about this.
Yeah, definitely.
JS Craig subbing on Twitch, thank you so much, asking or saying, hi, unpopular opinion, I think Heather's working for Fisk or being blackmailed to date Matt. Something about her seems off for
I
the
would love
episode.
that.
Also, her book feels like a red flag.
You never have to pay anyone to date Matt.
I like, see,
She's like, I'll do it for free.
I'll do it for free. She
would-
pays Fisk to date him.
I don't think that's an unpopular opinion at all. I would love that because it would give even her, yeah, she's honeypotting, but I love the idea of her playing an actual character that's not just there to be like
Yeah.
a shrink.
It would
Yeah.
mean Kirsten McDuffie must also be part of that conspiracy, though, because she's the one who set them up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
or
give her something to
unless
do.
Heather was like
Yeah.
performative for their friendship just to be like, hey, you work with Daredevil. That'd be a long game that she was playing for ages, but oh my God.
I am annoyed with like McDuffie having nothing to do in this.
What do you
show.
mean? She's upset that she doesn't know his secrets.
Every line
That's
is
a
like,
great character
Matt,
arc.
can
What are
I
you
talk
talking
to you?
about?
And he's like, no, I'm busy. Stop talking to me. And then she
Get
goes
out of
to-
my face.
She goes to Cherry and he's like, hey, what's going on with Matt? He's like, get away from me, lady. I deal with everyone on my own time, okay?
That poor woman. And that woman in the credits had like a stand-in for this episode at one point. And I was like, damn, she wasn't even in the full episode. She was in only half. She got one line that was like, I don't like secrets. And they said, I'm sorry. Neither do I, but I can't do anything about it.
He's like, what are you talking to me for?
Yeah, what are you talking
I'm not Matt's boss.
So my theory is they brought in Kirsten McDuffie because there was a line in episode 3 that was part of the original show where he said Murdoch and Associates. The judge said Murdoch and Associates, and because Nelson Murdoch and Page was no more, they didn't Matt to have an associate on this show. So they just, because so far I agree, she has not
nothing to
contributed to
do.
the story.
I love her as a person. I love that
do
actress.
too. That
I think that
actress
actress
is
is very
great.
fun.
Yeah.
I love seeing her, but I'm like, every line that comes out of your mouth feels very unnecessary.
Matt, can I have 2 seconds of your time, please? Give her something to do.
She maybe in the last 2 episodes she'll be like she'll be heading, because that's also the thing is while he's daredeviling, maybe you lead the court scenes, like you lead the court, and I will be up for that. Again, we only have 2 episodes left, so I don't know how likely that's gonna happen.
I love a good court scene. I loved the episode 3 stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, Hector's
With
episode?
Hector's
Yeah,
trial.
and
Super
even her
fun.
there reading everything, I was like, yeah, this seems nice. Never again did we see her doing things like this.
What about poor Leroy?
We haven't gotten a lot of
Where's
court.
Leroy?
Was that the only court episode we got?
Yeah.
Well, we
just
saw
trial of
saw
Hector.
Matt talk to the Latvian
That
DA
doesn't count.
in a courtroom.
Right, and then there was Dex's trial in the
Yeah.
very first episode, and maybe
that one doesn't
we
count.
know there's like a scene from the trailers where Karen's in the back of a courtroom, so maybe Dex gets.
She
released
wasn't in
or
the back
something.
of the
Oh, was that
courtroom.
Yeah, I
from? That
think
was
it was
from.
the
Oh,
first
my
episode.
mistake. My
I
mistake.
do think
Those
Karen-
ones don't count.
I
I'm
think
talking
Karen
about
will be
big
back
one.
by the end of the season.
Yeah, Karen's
Yeah,
coming back.
100%.
With Shang-Chi, because they're dating now. Ship it, dude.
All right, so let's talk about Muse and
Let's talk
the
about
fight and, Daredevil, how he got in, how he got out, all that stuff. There's lots of questions from everybody about this. Danielle Evans had sent in a super chat earlier, and this is echoing the vibe, I think, across both chats, asking, how do you feel about Muse being done so quickly after the build-up he was receiving this season, while the last 2 episodes focus more on Frank or Bullseye leading into season 2? So what do we think, y'all?
Look, I was expecting Muse to be more of a season-long character. Also, we've been hearing reports that Muse could come back in season. Brad Winderbaum made some comment that Muse could come back in season 2. I don't know how, unless there's a copycat killer.
Yeah, copycat.
Or this Muse was not the only Muse, as we've said. We know that there's a Daredevil mural that says "Born Again." I assume Muse will do, or maybe the copycat Muse will do, or maybe Angela might do. I don't really know if that's even going to be in this version of the show. We know that the final 2 episodes were part of the creative overhaul. So I wonder if what the fight we saw in this episode was originally going to be part of the finale or part of the episode 8 or something like that. And then they changed everything. So it just feels a little premature to us, but they don't really have more Muse story to tell. I liked the fight. I thought the fight choreography was great. The way the Billy Club goes through him you know,
Yeah,
or just
yeah.
the blood sprays on us. And then his final shot, as he's now become his own work of art, his grim, morbid work of art. I just thought all that was really cool. I thought the scene with Hunter Doohan playing Bastion, where he gets his nosebleed, is very creepy and very gross and well acted. I have some questions about the writing, but like, yeah, I just think there's got to be more Muse. I don't think they're going to establish him as an Inhuman in the MCU
Right, because
continuity.
his body was in the room for a long time. Like,
That's
like,
what I'm holding on to.
Yeah.
I'm like, the fact he was shot like 3 times in the
Yeah, yeah.
chest. His body's laying there once whatchamacallit gets there.
Right, and Cole
Wilson
North
Fisk gets
and-
there.
and Wilson Fisk is
then
there.
they're holding up his mask. I don't think he'd let anyone take that mask. So it would have to be like,
mask, please.
my mask, that's my different character. Also, and that was the part that, again, this is me, I don't even know. I was like, oh, maybe he does kind of have what Stephen Graham, Moon Knight has. But then I was like, no, because they didn't even approach it right. So I don't think he has like multiple personality
yeah,
disorder.
Dissociative
Yeah.
identity disorder. Yeah.
Dissociative identity disorder. But I was like, he's not gonna be like, it's not like Splice or whatever. He's not gonna be super strong out of
Right.
nowhere and be able to be like, I'm healed. Second season, here I come.
What if, so do we assume that Aubrey Plaza's Lady Death showed up
Yeah, she was there.
when the Billy Club goes
It
for
has to.
him?
Well, does
Well, not at
she choose?
that
Does she
moment.
choose who she comes for? Because if it's like a serial killer, she's like, you can go somewhere else.
I think everybody. I
Everybody?
think she doesn't judge them. She just
Yeah,
ferries
that's
them
true.
to the
Yeah,
next
yeah.
stage.
That's true. She does.
But I'm
not
saying
She was in that
Agatha
room.
Harkness's ghost could have shown up in the transition, grab Muse's ghost, and be like, I'm putting together a team.
But not everyone gets a ghost.
Also,
That's
we're also
true.
assuming that it's that. What if it's not Khonshu, but the other person that comes that
Ahmet?
gets him on the scales, like
The hippopotamus?
Yeah. What if it's someone judging him by his balance?
okay.
He could be religious.
Well, first you have to claim an afterlife. Do you want to go to Valhalla? Do you want to go to the Field of Reeds?
he can't go to.
Do you want to go to the ancestral
Do you want
plane?
to go to the ancestral plane?
Can I go to the ancestral plane? Please, I think I should go there.
The sand that's warm, so I sleep.
Chaka's like, who let this man in here?
Hi guys! I brought some unseasoned potato salad.
I made a painting on one of those trees.
Stop.
Everyone's just
Call
like,
it a
he's
mural.
ruining this.
He's
I'm
not
like,
in the bloodline.
I'm fine.
I am in the bloodline.
Now I will sing all of Hamilton at you.
Oh my god.
I'm
Just
a kitty cat.
as,
Get him out.
as a side note, for anyone watching, there is a very fun sketch on SNL where Kenan Thompson plays the distant uncle that goes to that plane, and he's like, "Anybody want a hamburger?" Like he's doing stupid stuff, and they're like, "Who's this guy?" That's your uncle that we don't talk about. Go look it up. It is.
I
the
didn't know
funniest-
that.
It is the fun because this is when Chadwick Boseman was hosting SNL. So when he shows up, he's like, "Who's that?" And it's Kenan with a button up. It's so stupid
Oh, that's
to watch.
incredible. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think this Muse is dead. But if there were more Muses,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
there was like
This is
3
an
or 4 Muses,
Yeah, the art is an inspiration to some freaks in the city or something like that.
that would make way more sense. How there could be 60 people.
Yeah,
dead
it makes sense.
if it wasn't all just one guy.
Yeah.
Drogo in the chat has been suggesting that they maybe give him a weird blood transfusion
Yeah.
to get his comic accurate powers.
Ooh, Kree blood or
Kree blood?
Genesis would have to be the process to make.
They pull kind of invincible to keep him alive, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Cecil.
That would be such an insane thing for Wilson Fisk to oversee. To be
Project
like,
Tahiti from Muse.
they're like, please bring him back. Bring him back. Well, I could see Wilson Fisk being an idiot and being like, bring him back because he needs to, he needs to go to the courts. He needs to do this, law. And then he's just like, no, I'm gonna.
What
go
if they
kill.
took him to the hospital and they perform the surgery and he gets a blood transfusion, but the blood came from Warren Worthington III, aka Angel, whose blood can heal people. That's a secondary mutation he gets, and that brings Muse back to life.
Or
I
Hulk
hate that.
blood. It's
Whoa.
Bruce Banner's blood serum, and he turns into a Hulk.
I'm not
The
having
coroner's
another Hulk. I'm not taking another
The
Hulk.
coroner's drinking a vintage Pingo Doce he got off of eBay that had a collector's bottle, but also had some
This is
blood
from
in it. And he
2001.
drips it. He's doing the things like, the suspect came in with multiple gunshots. Whoa! And he spills the blood.
Now, when Hulk Muse's nosebleeds, does it gush out, or does he not have a nosebleed? Does his blood
Because
not
it
like
heals immediately?
the platelets?
Why did his nose bleed?
Yeah.
Was it because of stress? Was his brain
I think
vibrating
he
so hard?
caused it to bleed so that he can, or maybe it's just something he does when
I think
just
he's a
in
nose
this emotional
picker. I think he
state.
picks
He picks his nose. It
Before
was a
he just
dry
jabbed
day
the
in New
pen in
York.
there.
It hadn't rained in a while.
Gotta go Bam, suggesting that maybe that was a hint and possible his Inhuman or mutant connections, that his nose was bleeding.
He can bleed on command. Like, that's his power.
That's a great
I
power,
wish you had a
guess.
different power.
Well, yeah, I wish it wasn't so gross. It's funny in the breakdown, you mentioned Angel. Angel went to the exact same boarding school as him in the comic.
Well, there you go. It's confirmed then.
Yeah, Muse is Angel?
Muse
no!
is- no, he knows Angel.
knows Warren
He's like,
Worthington
that's my
III."
friend. That's
He's
my
my
friend.
blood buddy.
You.
Yeah,
went to the same
Warren's like,
school.
I heard my friend died. I gotta drive down to New York City and give him some of my blood.
They went to the same school as Morbius. That same blood school.
Yeah, wait, did anyone think this was Morbius? Pull that picture up.
I said the word.
He does have the fangs.
It does look like the Morbius photo.
It has
that's,
something
on
to do
the
with
poster.
Spider-Man.
Now,
I
if
think.
Matt Murdock touched that mural, could he find that guy in New
No,
York
but
City?
that's a brick.
I'm sorry. Jess and I could not contain ourselves in the
Oh yeah,
reaction.
I need to go watch that reaction.
Yeah.
I mean, can we all just agree this is very silly?
Yeah.
And
The
just-
touching of the painting was silly.
it'd be like, I'm gonna bring up a picture of my wife and son, and I don't know it's a picture of them, and I'm gonna run my hands on a flat, two-dimensional surface and know who they are.
I mean, it has.
It has texture,
Texture,
but
but
is
it's
that
not
what
like
Heather's
That's not.
face feels
It's
like?
not like he would. You're right. It's not like
Yeah.
he would make the cheeks taller than the. You
It was
know.
an impressionistic painting, and it didn't even look that much like her.
And to clarify too, like, feeling her face, like that is fine. That is something that it happens, I
Right.
believe, right? But it's feeling the painting specifically
yes,
Yeah,
that
yes.
is confusing.
And
Yeah.
I'm not even trying to be this person, but yeah, she has some strong European features, and a lot of New Yorkers have those same features. So I was like,
Sure,
how do you
yeah.
know this is exactly Heather? It could be any white woman that kind of has the same
It
bone
was the
structure.
weirdest device. I mean,
Yeah.
it should have been like a book. It should have been her book.
Could have been her book.
I don't know
and
how he would have told it was her book.
It has this. It smells
400
like her,
pages.
Oh, yeah.
or like it could be a gift that he gave her, a scarf, a necklace, or something, a lock of her hair.
Or he
that gets
wrote
left
down the
behind.
address of her, office because he's going there for.
I wish they would have just made it like that. He wanted Daredevil to find him.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
I wish that, because even
that,
furthering the Taekwondo stuff, I was like, oh, so you want a duel. You want, like,
Right.
you're that much of a maniac. Please try to fight Daredevil. See if you can make art out of this. Get his blood. His blood is probably the best blood for you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wish that was the case, because then he would have
That's
put
great.
something in,
Yeah.
like, Braille, or he would have put
Yeah.
something that was like, hey, I'm coming for your girl. Come find me.
I thought Heather was Dunzo when he wrote his name on her arm. Because it was a very weird way to get him to, like, my name is Muse. But because he basically signed her like he signs his papers,
Yeah.
right? And I thought Daredevil would not stop it in time. Maybe he stops Muse, but then turns and she's gone, right? And she signed, and, like, that is the final work of art, right? But, like, that didn't happen. It's just all very strange how they
He's a strange boy.
used all this together. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
glad they didn't just, like, fridge the character, use her for the device of pushing Matt forward. But it just all felt very weird.
I feel like in the original writing, they had him carve his name into her
Ah,
arm,
okay.
and they were like, "That's too
That's too much.
They were like, "We already got you getting stabbed in the shoulder and getting shot 3 times. We're not gonna have you carve your name into them."
Yeah. Evan?
So yeah, catching up on some super chats here. A silhouetted animator had sent in $2 before saying, "Fun fact: Charlie Cox is a big Toy Story fan." Fun fact, indeed. Unexpected nerd.
How can we use that in the show?
How could we use that in the show? We'll figure it out. Unexpected nerd saying, "I feel like Muse isn't actually dead. Wasn't there a Daredevil mural by Muses that we still haven't seen? Also,
Yes.
this episode was released on April Fool's Day." Thank you for the super chat. Unexpected nerd.
This all,
That would be funny that they shifted the episode so the St. Patrick's Day episode didn't come out on St. Patrick's
But they
Day,
made sure.
but they made sure the joke one came out on April Fool's Day.
The joke one.
The joke. Wait, no. Well, this would be the joke one if that was the case. Not calling this episode a joke. I'm just saying that it was the joke. You know.
Yeah, I know.
My worry is that the murals that we haven't seen yet are not going to be in this version.
Oh,
of the
you
show.
think they just took it
that
out?
that it was in an older version of the show, and that Muse was going to be doing other stuff, and they just cut those scenes. That's my worry.
I think
hope
we
that's
will
not the
see
case.
the mural, and it will be there'll be a new Muse.
Or it
someone
could-
has taken over, a copycat.
It is
Okay.
huge,
I
but it
hope
could have
so.
been hidden somewhere. Like
Yeah.
no one saw it until someone saw it. Maybe I don't. Again, actually, that could happen because the suspend disbelief in this show is very big. So I think think it could just be like hidden in Brooklyn and no one goes to this part of Brooklyn.
I think Muse will wake up in a hospital. They're doing surgery on his spine for whatever. They're also giving him a metal spine, and he looks over, and Dexter's sitting in the hospital too, and Dexter's like, first time.
Dexter and him,
First time.
Bullseye and him hate each other. I know damn well they
Just
wouldn't
bring
like
Bullseye
each other.
back.
Yeah.
Bring him back.
You know what I think might happen is like, yes, they've announced that the anti-vigilante task force killed Muse. They took credit for that killing. I wonder if like this task force operated by Mayor Fisk will make a new mural saying "Born Again" as if it's like trying to link Daredevil and to scare people to say that there were other like that Muse actually was in favor of the Daredevil vigilante and say, see, they were all working together because like, you know, the worry on Fisk's face when he said that like, oh, he is back now, like Matt's back as Daredevil, like I think he's gonna try to link them publicly. So maybe it's like Cole North and them who make that mural.
They have no artistic direction. They're gonna be like, Vanessa, can you find someone? Where's Adam? Get Adam to Adam to paint this.
Are they trying to like?
I can't anymore.
Yeah, please, my fingers are all broken and chopped.
Adam, sorry I tossed you around so much, but we're gonna need you for something now.
I'll let you go if you can paint.
I'm gonna give you this razor, but don't cut me. Cut your beard. You have a press conference to give. Are they trying to like make us feel sympathy for Cole North in any weird way? I think it's interesting the choices of like the 2 times we've interacted with Cole North. He's been kind of like, I don't wanna. Almost like the first time, you know, Wilson was kind of like asking about how he killed that person and it was like extrajudicious or whatever. And it almost feels like Cole had remorse for that. And then in this sequence when he's like, when Fisk is like, you stopped the Muse, you got him. And he's like, yes, I stopped him. Yeah. I don't, Powell is more of a villainous cop, I think, than they're making Cole North out to be.
Well, Cole North also, didn't he commit a crime that got him off the force? So he hasn't been working under people for a while.
He used excessive force on someone. And when he was telling that story again, it's like he felt bad about it. It didn't feel like he was like, he didn't seem like he was angry that he got demoted. He was angry that he did it in the first place.
Did he get demoted or is he gone? Because I'm like, if he hasn't worked under people and he
wasn't
is the
fired,
one...
it seemed like all these cops were probably moved to like, they're not on the streets.
Jobs.
They're being reprimanded. Their union kept them part of the force, of course. But they're not allowed to be on the street beating people up.
I just took it as like a Venn diagram where they aren't actually 100% with Wilson Fisk, but they're also not, the same Venn diagram works for like the Punisher. They're like, we're not 100% for the Punisher. If there was a Venn diagram, there's stuff in the center, but there's still stuff opposite. And I do think their connection to like, we put justice in our own hands because the law the law works slowly and doesn't work in the ways that we want. And Fisk is still the law. If that makes sense. Like they still have to they have to take orders from this person and his orders aren't correct and in their or like in their values. They're just like, we're just doing this because it's our job, but we're not really for it, if that makes sense.
I get what you're saying. I feel like they're trying to redeem Cole North.
I don't
know why. He's like, yeah, I'm a bad cop, but I'm not that bad.
I'm pretty sure he's the one who killed Hector, right?
I've been going off of they haven't said it, but I know it.
That's why
I'll never forgive him.
They're not. He's just not into it enough for me. I want an anti-vigilante cop who's really loving it.
That's the thing. They're still anti-vigilante cops.
I like Powell. Let's get more Powell out here. He's a bad dude.
I think Powell they kind of made to seem a bit redemptive.
That's what I was gonna say. I watching some of the episodes over again. Like Powell obviously is like not a great dude, but there are moments where like he looks kind of like confused or looks like should we be doing this? And when he like kind of pushes back against Matt for not killing Hector, or when Matt like threatens him about killing Hector, I think there's like something. I think we'll see him come back in some sense and either like stop Cole or maybe not that I agree with it, but I think I
think he did love his partner. I think
that's true,
that speech about we watched the baseball, eat hot dogs and beer. He said something like that. But like I think for him, it's funny to us, but for him it was serious. He's like, our kids hang out. Like that was my homie, and now he's dead. I think he's still steering with that pain. So it's like he's not redemptive, but he is like still hurting.
When we handcuff a criminal to a fire hydrant, we take turns punching him in the face. That's the kind of relationship
that was us.
We're blood brothers. We went to the same school. Dr. Michael Mobius.
Stop it, Dr. Michael Mobius.
So Raymond K. Hessel sent in a super chat before. How did Daredevil get out of that building? In season 1, they made a whole point of how hard it was for Matt to escape a building that was surrounded by cops.
Are they talking about the cave? hidey hole?
I think the therapist.
Or the
Either,
The therapist built.
or either, yeah.
Because it was
How does he move in
broad
daylight? Yeah.
Daylight too.
He's
I
got
guess
a
he goes
bright
up to
red
the roof.
suit.
They've also established. I mean, in Daredevil, he wasn't swinging around the city yet. Now he's got city swinging capabilities.
He is parkouring off the roof.
He's doing a little.
Maybe there's a lot of people who are parkouring off roofs
yeah.
in red suits. We know there's
It's after
Peter
the blip.
Parker,
There's
and
nothing
they're
to-
just seeing, another red suited guy jumping around.
Honestly, 100%. If I saw another superhero, I'd be like, yeah, it's just another Tuesday.
Yeah.
How'd you get to work today? Did you take the subway? No, I took the rooftops. Did some swinging.
At one point, there were 3 different Spider-Men in the city, so
Yeah.
people are just seeing them everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's copycats,
This one's digging in the dumpster. You're like, oh, that's the poor one.
But they even got a Subway surfer out there,
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Oh, that's just a normal kid. That's just a
Yeah.
normal Brooklyn child on top of
yeah.
the subway. Eating. Oh, God.
Chadwick Meyer sent a super chat before King Gandolfini's Fisk Jr. be so stoked and inspired by Fisk and being blended into his criminal world inspire him to become Rose. Okay, so I think the question is, Daniel Blake, Michael Gandolfini's character, will he become Rose, another, kind of like mafia leader, I guess, from the comics, but also, would you make of that scene in general? Like his kind of like, him taking the mayor's seat and all that stuff.
And like twiddling his ring.
Yeah.
Very mafioso, right?
And he had his ring when they were fixing the pothole in that scene, right?
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
kind of twiddling it then, too.
I mean, he's threatening BB. Is there any juice behind that? Or is he trying to act tough and she's not really threatened by him?
That's the hard part about understanding this scene, because I don't understand if it's the direction of the acting or if it's in the script to be... Because at the beginning of the episode, he was following what Buck was saying. When he was like, Starbucks? The voters? Like, I was like, oh,
He was
okay.
like goofy.
Yeah, he's a big dumb idiot. And then by the end, I was like, oh, is he still a big dumb idiot just faking it
Right.
till he makes it? Or is he actually trying to step into this position? I can't tell. And so, because I'm like, I think he got embarrassed, like Fisk. He has not a big ego, but he got hurt by what BB did. He was like, you made me look like an idiot, and I'm not an idiot, so now I'm going to retaliate.
I admitted that I did ketamine because of you.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, okay. I don't want to give him too much faith, because I'm like, I don't know if he's still a big dumb idiot and he's just going to keep messing up, but I also don't know if they weren't going for that, and that's just what it looks like in the takes that we're seeing.
I think BB's like playing him, like is acting like, oh, I'm scared of you, but it's like, this idiot's gonna tell me something else any day now.
I think she's a good journalist, so she'll probably just keep
And
doing that.
we don't know if she printed the story that we don't know if
She printed the trash one. That was on the pamphlet, wasn't it?
well, we don't know if she's doing what Daniel asks of her in this scene, right? We haven't seen the results.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Right, yeah.
Whether or not she actually posts a story that kind of links Muse and Daredevil together.
I would if I was BB.
You would?
I would, and I'd go to the people of New York and tell them, and then record it. And I'd be like, what do you think about this? And they'd be like, I see this.
You would do what Daniel asked you to do.
No, I would do
the
exactly
opposite.
opposite. I would still run it. I'd be like, I'm gonna run it. But also,
Yeah.
BB doesn't want to
I
probably
think BB
die.
should get that old guy she's interviewed with the little hat and a gun to be her protection.
No, that guy was
Just
creepy.
shoot him right in the head. They coming in my place, I shoot him right in the head.
I have a question about where is the public of New York watching the BB Report, like, films? Is it on
I
YouTube?
think it's YouTube.
I assumed it was
Because it's
digital.
being shot on 16 millimeter. Like, if it was YouTube, you could just shoot it with your
You don't
phone.
think that's
But
like-
they
What
have
if it's a
clapboard.
filter?
Well, I think
They
I
do,
think,
like, you see the
Yeah, I think they put
I
a
think
filter,
it's all
on
filtered.
it.
Like we as the audience are seeing what the civilians of New York would see. So she's purposely editing these videos with the filter, with the film strip, and letting them see the clapboards to make them feel like they're part of it. You know, this is very like 90s MTV interstitials in between the music videos, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's all performative. And I think she's just shooting on like her like phone camera or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe she's got like a DSLR.
It's kind of like when we do these episodes live and we do a little bit before we actually start the YouTube version of the show. We do a little bit after.
and then we put a filter over.
And we do it a little filter over.
I just have so many production questions. Like, if she has the clapboard, is it her behind the camera? Does she have a
Yeah.
team? Because she's running a website and
Yeah,
editing all
she's
these
also
videos.
doing-
That's a
yeah.
lot of work.
Yeah.
And she's doing it.
Do you think they have their own version of like TikTok? That's what it's on? Like the MCU TikTok is like something else?
If it were vertical,
Yeah, if it was actually vertical, yeah. I mean, obviously we're seeing the horizontal
I think
cuts.
in the MCU it's still called ByteDance
Yes.
because
Yeah.
of the blip.
Well, because of Spider Bite.
Spider Bite too. Yeah.
yeah.
It's called Spider Bite Dance.
Spider by Dance.
Boy, I don't.
MX had sent in a super chat before. I think we all know reshoots always cause a weird editing overlap eventually. This was it. Not mad though. Episode substance and dialogue was a little bit off. Yeah, well, I think we're all excited, to kind of bring it home here. Like, I think we're all kind of excited to see what these last 2 episodes bring, right, with this creative overhaul.
Right.
Yes.
And things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see where they end this season. I still think. I mean, I thought this fight scene was gonna in Heather's office was gonna be Kingpin and Daredevil, but it turned out to be Muse. He was the one with the suspenders the whole time. So I do hope Daredevil and Fisk come to blows at some point this season, but now I don't know.
I don't think it'll be this season. I think it'll be
so. I think they're gonna
the
keep
end
them
of the
apart,
second.
huh?
Yeah, it takes a minute
I don't know.
for Fisk to beat up Daredevil.
I'm ready to see him fight.
I just want to see Bullseye come back.
Yeah, I do
see
want Bullseye to come back also.
You can't put but it's hard because that was the added part, the reshoot of Bullseye even going. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Do you think we'll find out who sent Bullseye? Are we going to get a scene that confirms that Vanessa sent him after Foggy Nelson?
I hope it is literally in the last, like, even if it's the last episode, Vanessa just is like sitting in the dark talking to Fisk and being like, I did it. I sent Bullseye after Foggy and Karen, and he fucked up and didn't get
I think
Karen.
it was McDuffie because she wanted to start this new law firm. She had to get Karen and Foggy out of the way.
She said, look here, if I'm going to advance in this.
She's like, I'm just trying to talk to Matt. I tried to get his 2 best friends killed so I could talk to him. And now I'm working with him. He's always busy. He's always talking to Cherry. Won't talk to me. No one talks to old McDuffie.
Stop, old McDuffie.
Old McDuffie had a firm.
My best friend, she's banging Matt all the time. She won't talk to me anymore.
Thought we would all go to dinner.
I thought we'd all go to dinner, but they cut me right out of the deal. The 3 of us, we had tickets for Operation Mincemeat. They cut me out. I didn't get to go see it. Just came over from the West End. So one thing I wanted to see.
Girl, she ain't gonna even like, I feel so bad because I'm like, girl, are you threatening Cherry? Because you're going to keep this job. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? This is a great job for you.
He's got a gun. Don't threaten him.
Oh.
It's her firm. Does he even? I don't think he works at the firm.
It says
no, he's
Murdoch and Associates.
He's like a 1099 contractor for the firm, right?
Yeah,
he just bills hours.
You wouldn't have him full time at the firm because you need him as an independent contractor. Because if you get sued and there's like discovery and stuff, you want him separate from your
Guys always have their own independent licensure.
Yeah. Okay, well, as we do...
I should know I'm a serial killer.
You're an infamous serial killer. As we do on the after show here, we like to highlight a character who we think really stood out in this episode, and we'll give them the mural. And then we want to throw someone off the building who did the worst job this episode. So who, in episode 7, are you giving the mural to, and who are you throwing off the building?
I got to give my mural to Heather. Because Heather did lead a lot of this episode, even from the start to the very end. She's the one that kills Muse. No,
right?
They're like, Daredevil did it. Nah, it was actually Heather.
She's not afraid to talk trash to the man who's cut her open.
I'm like, here is this woman killing that serial killer. So I'm gonna give my mural to Heather, though I am very disappointed in you, Heather. This man is not telling you the truth. He's keeping secrets from you, and you just need to confront him. Don't hang him out. Don't give him a line to walk. Just straight up confront him.
It doesn't matter how good the shower sex is.
I disagree.
It's important.
I disagree. That shower head, disgusting. I hate those showers. The jungle showers or whatever they're called. That just pours on you. It just pours on you.
No, I like a lot of water.
Rain shower. I hate those.
I love them.
Oh, I need that.
I love
you. Take them all from hotels and get out of here.
No,
all I want are them.
I like to feel like an elephant being hosed down.
Why?
I have one in our home, and I always sing Evanescence under it.
You cry, I wash away all of my tears.
I do Enya. I could say, who can
That's a good one.
say where the love goes?
That's the graduation song.
The graduation
you sing Vitamin C?
Yeah, that was my graduation song.
No, mine.
As we go
on,
my graduation song. Here's to the ones that we got.
I'm gonna throw myself off the.
My graduation song was 525.
No, it wasn't.
Because the Rent movie had just come out. Rosario Dawson, the Chris Columbus.
That's a good
movie.
one, though. That's a good song.
It's a good song.
Oh my god,
it's a good song. But
I'm jealous.
It's a little weird here.
I think mine was Tyga.
How do you measure our senior year? Wait a minute, Tyga.
Mine was
Rack City, bitch. I think. Rack City, bitch. Rack City, bitch. 10, 20s on your titties, bitch. And I walked up and I said, No, but I'm
And they
gonna
said, no, Miss Clemons. Get us back that.
She doesn't even go here.
me ripping it back. My mom's going, oh Lord. Okay, sorry. Go. I'm gonna throw off the building. I'm gonna throw off the building. It's gotta be. It's gotta be Wilson Fisk, right?
Okay,
it's gotta be Wilson Fisk.
Sure.
I just think his motivations are so stupid, and I wish he would confront himself and be like, hey, I'm not actually working for the city. I'm doing this out of my own personal conflicts with Daredevil. And that is just pushing all of this. And also with him and Vanessa, just straight up talk. I know that this was a game that y'all were playing, and if you want to kill Luca, you can kill Luca.
Yeah.
You don't need to involve him in your weird relationship drama. Just go kill him like you did everybody else in the other 3 seasons.
Did Buck get to eat at the restaurant?
No, of course not.
Even after
He
killed
doesn't get
Luca?
it to go chicken parm.
That's crazy. Why would he get to eat? He's gonna
Buck's like,
sit
so are we done here? He's like, I'm gonna finish this plate, Buck. Get back behind the curtain. I don't like you watching.
Buck just has to stand there with the curtain.
Yeah.
But
I'm also gonna be having dessert, so get comfy back there.
I love the way he was like, thank you, Buck. Like he was like so I don't know,
Thank you, Buck.
like cheery
But,
about
and
it.
also, but come on, have some respect for yourself, my boy. You are not a pet. You go do
He
your
has the
own
pet's
thing.
name.
He's too busy asymmetrically thinking.
He's
That's
like,
his whole thing.
I'm playing the good game, right? No, my boy, you're being used as like a slave. Keep going.
I think Buck gets my mural.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because he got that shot. He was well across
Clutch.
the room. It
Clutch.
was not well lit, that room.
No.
I'm very impressed with Buck. I like to see him live his past life and for some of that to creep in.
Yeah.
Thrown off the building? I'm sorry, Heather. You were not a good therapist.
Oh, no.
You get thrown
Yeah.
off the building.
Yeah.
You did not do good. I disagree, Jess. I think she should be thrown off the
Hey,
building.
I give mine to the people that actually murdered. And she murdered. They're never going to give it to that woman. They're going to
Yeah.
say Daredevil or the
True.
Anti-Vigilante Task Force, and Heather's sitting there like, I mean, triggered for sure, but definitely not in a good headspace now. But you technically were the one that murdered him.
Karen was, or Heather was the one who was like, fine, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, fine.
Yep.
I'll do it
Bang, bang,
myself.
bang, 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 bang. Also, maybe get a gun for your office. I don't know.
Yeah, whose gun was, that was his gun, right?
That was
Muse's
his gun.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Get a gun for your office as
I
a
mean,
psychiatrist?
If you're not gonna have a secretary, at least have a gun.
I don't know. if she
You're in
should
there
have
by
a gun.
yourself with the most violent
What if
people
he
in New
gets?
York
What if
City.
the violent person gets the gun?
Well, that's another problem.
And she doesn't know if Hunter's violent. I mean, say Hunter, Sebastian,
Yeah.
or Bastion. Hunter's the actor.
Mr. Duhan.
He didn't seem violent until he started painting with his nose.
Yeah, and then
guess.
I was like, okay, come on, we get it. You're crazy.
Also,
Hey, you wanna
so
make
much
me-
blood.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
To
noseblood.
draw with that, to paint with that thickness, I was like, what are you
Let's
doing?
test
Punching
it.
yourself in the nose to keep bleeding?
He's a picker. He's a picker.
He's a
I'm gonna give my mural to. Who am I gonna give my mural to? I'm gonna give my.
You can jump. You can start with the roof. Who are you gonna throw? Off?
Yeah. Okay. Let's. Who do we throw off the roof? I'll throw Daniel off the roof. My guy. This is not a good. You gotta do better than this.
Also, what if he gets in trouble because of what he did? What if it just made things worse? Him
Yeah.
threatening BB.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's just an idiot.
He oversteps.
Yeah.
And it's not Michael Gandolfini. People, I think, are thinking I hate Michael Gandolfini.
no.
No, I hate the character that
I think
is
he's getting played by BB,
which is what it's
so
supposed
easy,
to do.
and he can't even
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
He's a maniac.
I think he like really does like the I am a fanboy of
Yeah.
this, and like that is the only reason he is in any proximity to power.
Yeah.
And he's like messing up because he doesn't have the intellect to like
Yeah.
know how to actually play the game. He's just copying what he sees.
And in the story, that is perfectly feeding into my irritation.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you're an idiot.
And I'll give the mural to Detective Angie Kim for being smart enough to figure out the canvas plot.
No.
It was a unique canvas.
Unique
that
canvas.
I mean, Angie Kim, for her Irish joke, her on-the-spot Irish
on the
joke.
spot Irish joke. Nailed
Holy
it.
shit, she's
Susses
great.
out that the man on the phone was from Northern Ireland.
Yeah, just
not from Ireland, and
Yeah.
is the only cop who was able to track down Muse pretty quickly.
Super cop.
Super cop.
Well, I think she knew because they interviewed Angela at the beginning. She was like, a detective interviewed me already this morning, so I think that's how they figured out where to go.
But that's a good cop. She's doing a good.
It could have been the anti-vigilante force.
She's doing a good job.
That's my question with Angie, because at the beginning she was like, who cares about these vigilantes? They suck. And I'm like, ooh, she's not a part of the anti-vigilante agenda, but I think like them doing, like, if they in the workplace were like, oh, we hate these vigilantes, she'd be like, oh, me too. Can't get enough of them. I want to kill them all.
I wanna
Kill them all.
But don't tell the boss I said
But
that.
don't tell Fisk I said that.
Well,
Where's Gallo? Sorry, keep going. I was like, where's Gallo?
He's staying out of the office as much as he can.
Okay.
He's trying not to get his balls crushed in a vice. That's it for us today. Make sure to subscribe to the Breakroom channel right here on YouTube and give us a follow on Twitch where we do videos like this live. Make sure to tune into New Rockstars today for Jessica's breakdown of episode 7, which will be up on the channel later this afternoon. You can follow Breakroom NR on Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and Twitter. We'll catch you next time. Latest, Gators. Goodbye.